The planning phase has been finished, right?
Now I want to know, how do you planning to continue with a reconstruction?
Oh, here.
I think most of the question will go to Anastasiia. Maybe she should stay there in the front of the microphone.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. For the moment, the project is developing until the sketch proposition. So we are searching now the investments for the further development, because this is what you see. We presented during the events in Ukraine, in Kharkiv and Izyum, for starting the dialogue with community, what they want, or do they like or not, what they want to change. So it is already a lot of work done, but it still needs to be done even more, because all engineering parts are not ready, and even geodesy, for example, the geodesic survey, we did not do so. General plan needs to be on it, because all the data which we received from administration is not sufficient, because they lost what they had. They lost geodesic surveys and so on. And all this needs to be still done before we start. As well, there are a lot of points which we can already work on, as for example, educational training courses for the people who are living there. It can be different type of collaboration, not about only rebuilding, but to accept all these new things, also technologies and some rebuildings and inclusivity. People also need to change in their minds, and this is also a process. And this process needs to be before the physical reconstruction. And that's what we can do already today. And as well as, for example, that collaboration with the University of Karazina National, it's important because they can start this educational and requalification programs for the people from Izyum and also from the people in Kharkiv, for the students. With this, they can involve new students for the university, because if you will once look in internet how this university looks like, it's a huge, huge building, and it's a beautiful building, and it's empty. There are no students. And of course, they have online education programs, but it is not sufficient to run all this institution. Our next steps are first to find the new partners for a further developing of the architectural and urban parts. Also find a new collaboration with architects and urbanists who want to be involved in this project, because we still have possibility to change it, to make it better, and to make it together. For the moment, that NGO which we created, it's exactly for that purpose, that everybody from Europe and from Ukraine can join us in this starting point. And of course, we cannot do the district without thinking about the city. It's not correct. Also, if you speak as an architect, we know that it is not a way. But I need to say that last year, the Martin Duplantier architects, it's a French architect, he developed the strategy plan of Izyum, the whole city. And there is a design code, there is everything already, and it's a big analytic work. And we studied it before we start that part. But of course, there are still a lot of things which needs to be done.
Are there ideas to, I don't know if it's right in English, but are there ideas to not only educate the students, to use the ability of the people, because in former times, in Soviet times, for example, they built 20 people each build 20 houses together. Are there this community thing? The people take the bricks and put it there. Are you thinking about this? How to say?
Work together.
Grassroots levels.
Yeah, that's a great question, and we already discussed it during our networks in July with Dorothea from Architecturwerk Group. That of course, the project is a big scale, and we cannot do immediately everything, but we can start with something. And after last events in Ukraine, we start to collaborate with Right Direction NGO, and they want to realize the project of Hub of Recovery. Because in this way we can, local people can start to build up something already, and to make it more easy we can use wooden structure and fill it with agricultural rests. There are technologies we saw in Slovakia, and these are our also very long time technologies like Khatka Mazanka. It was the same, but now we can do it in a more technological way. And in Izyum, for example, the local there is a local little factory which produces the wooden structure. So it's possible, because there slowly starts the process. And of course, the most important is to restart the economic in this city, to start something business. The people need to work, and people need to have places for work also. And that can be the first point. Yeah.
I think it's important to let the people work, because I think you can a little bit heal the trauma and have the community to rebuild as well in this grassroots.
Yeah, they already worked, but mostly it was cleaning the territories after Russians, because Russians did a lot of rubbish inside, and there's still a lot of work on this direction. And for example, that hub of recovery is inside totally the building rests, and if they already will start with this, then also it's more easy to find investments, because if it's clean and people want to show that they want to do something there, it's more easy to find, to attract investors. And if everything is in ruins, even if they are beautiful, it does not work.
Do they organize this cleaning on their own, or is it from the administration?
That's mostly was now, they work together. And administration and community, and our project was also aimed to make this tie even more stronger. That's why we invite on all our events and to all our dialogues administration and representatives of communities. And during the conversations, dialogues, they start to know each other and to know better the needs, because they all were in occupation. They all had the troubles, but for example, people don't like that administrative buildings are already good looking and their houses are still with the holes in the roofs. And there could be different explanations of it, because also if there is no administration, they have no place, then they cannot function as a city. So it needs to be also done. But as we said before, 90% were destroyed, and everything in one day cannot be recovered. To destroy is much more quickly than to build up.
I would have a question which is close to the theme of destruction. And if I understand your project correctly, you want to preserve as many walls as possible and as many building materials as possible, which is very sustainable in the sense that you don't need to use new material. But my question is it sustainable long term? Like, how do we want to stabilize it in such a way that it will be good for 10, 20, 30 years down the road?
I thank you for the question. I think the buildings which are still are in tilt in Izyum were already, and also in our district, were already investigated by engineers, and we are working with those who are still in a good state and can work long years. And of course, if we speak about hub of recovery, it looks poor now, and all these walls are in a very bad state, but we can support them and leave that memory, because it's also about the places of memory and the places which will show us our history. And in some point we can, like there is a heritage, architectural heritage, we can totally renovate it and renovate, but in this case it's already have no sense, because also before the war there were many rebuilding processes and it's not authentic anymore. But the atmosphere of the city will stay, and we want to leave it as much as possible, because people who will come back, it would be great if they will recognize their city, if they have something still with that city. If we will do all new, that will not work for the people who live Izyum years ago, who are living now in Europe.